Good afternoon, family. Good afternoon. Hope all is well with everybody. Hope all is well with everybody. My name is Maxwell Atkinson. For some of y'all who currently do not follow me or have not followed me as of yet, and a lot of people know me as the king of IULs and annuities. If you guys don't know what an IUL is it's pretty much a what's called an index universal life insurance policy. So yeah, I'm known as the king of IUR and annuities here in the DMV because I have touched quite a few people in this particular area, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And what I want to talk to you guys about today is something that touch every family, every household, and every generation, and that's life insurance. And the reason for this particular topics today is just this year alone, I've run across a lot of people who I actually know personally myself, who have had death in the family or sickness, that I have talked to in a while that I've talked to in the past, and they just didn't make a move. So the title of this topic today is why don't we have life insurance? Why don't we have life insurance? Now I know life insurance is a boring topic, but I promise you tonight's conversation isn't about numbers or paperwork. It's about real life, real people, and real consequences. Okay. So let me start this off though by asking you guys a question. And I want you just to think about. I want you just because a lot of people don't think about this. You understand? Is the last thing that they want to think about. And listen, if you close your eyes for a second and ask yourself this question: if something happened to you today, would your family be okay financially tomorrow? So if you are a husband right now and you're watching this and you don't have life insurance, if something happens to you today, will your wife be able to sustain and maintain without you? Will your children be okay without you? If you are I always say this too. Even if you are a woman who don't work and you're a housewife, for example, right? You're still massively important because if something happens to your spouse, your wife, and she's the one taking care of home, which allow you to now go out and go do the things that you do, as the husband, or the head of the household. If something happens to your spouse, your wife, you know, how would you be able to do the things that you do? How will you be able to go out and make money and keep the family afloat? It's going to cost you a lot to replace your wife. You talking about a nanny? You talking about daycare, like all these things, right? That a lot of people don't factor in, right? If you are a single person, okay, single mom, single dad, doesn't matter, right? If something happens to you today, will your children be okay? This is something I want you to close your eyes and envision and think about. And a lot of people don't think about it because they don't want to think about it because they don't want to think about life. You know, death is part of life. And I know we don't like to talk. I personally don't like to talk about it, but it is something that happens. And we got to make sure that, hey, if this happened, that our loved ones are not going to suffer, right? Now, let me ask you this. Why do you think most people don't have life insurance? Right now in America, 48% of the people in the country do not have life insurance. And let me just personally break down the excuses that I hear every single day. because I'm in over 300 houses a year. I'm in over 25 to 30 houses a month, right? And I hear it's almost routine now. Like I hear the same thing. It's too expensive, right? Family, like the average life insurance policy, for example, for when people tell me it's too expensive, and I'm just looking like, really? Like, I'm gonna give an example. The average life insurance policy for a healthy 30-year-old can cost less than $20 a month. I ran a quote for a young lady. Well, she wanted a policy for her son, who I believe was 24, 25. I ran a 30-year term policy for $500,000, and it was 30 something dollars a month. Okay. And she's still like, well, let me think about it. Right? That's less than your. I think Netflix right now costs, I believe, like, is it like $29, $30 for Netflix? That's less than your DoorDash, less than your coffee a week, right? Or I might hear, I'm young, I'm healthy, I don't need it. But guess what? Illnesses and accidents don't wait for the right time. I'm gonna give an example. A few years ago, I got a referral from a client of mine in Massachusetts. And the referral was a gentleman who was a young gentleman, but she thought this guy had his head on, a good head on the shoulder, and it would be somebody open to listen and maybe even moving forward. All right, I sat down with the gentleman, ran numbers because he didn't understand, and at that time I was showing him what's called an index universal life policy. It's a life insurance policy that has what's called cash value, like a savings account. Excuse me, guys, like a savings account that's tied to it. And he's like, you know what? Let me think about this, whatever, like that, right? So I did a presentation. I ran some quotes for him, 500K, $1 million, whatever. All right. A month or so went by. He gave me a call. He said, hey, you know what? I was watching this thing on TV or whatever, and they said a policy that does this and does that. Was that the same thing you was showing me? I was like, yeah. He said, all right, cool. I'm ready to do it. I went over there. I did the policy for him. And 2 months, almost 3 months later, this gentleman ended up passing away. He ended up drowning. Excuse me, guys. My allergies kicking in, so I apologize about that. He ended up drowning, him and his girlfriend, right? And he did the policy was for $500,000. Now, why do I bring that up? He was only 25 or 26 years old, I believe. 25 or 26-year old. Okay. So when a person tells me, oh, I'm too young or whatever, or even, for example, I'm gonna make it even more personal. I have three sisters. Okay. At the time of this event, two sisters had a policy with me. The one sister didn't have a policy with me, and she had children. And I talked to her about, hey, get a policy for yourself, get a policy for the kids. And she said, oh, I'll let you know, blah, blah, blah. Then a few years later, her son, the oldest, got hit by a car. Okay, my nephew. And he obviously, he was bedridden for roughly 6 months or so. Thank God he was able to get out of it, and survive it, and he's out, he's up and about now, strong and healthy again, right? And that was the moment that she decided to get a policy with me. So when a person tells me, oh, I'm young, I'm healthy, I don't need it right now, life happens to Everybody. There's no, oh, this person is 60 now, let me come after this person. No, life happened to everybody. I mean, even most recently, it's a young lady who I sat down with maybe 2 years or so, and I ran numbers for her to do a policy for her and the kids. And the same thing, she said she couldn't afford it or she didn't or she couldn't do it. I don't know, whichever one. And then last week, um, some health situation happened with the daughter, and I came to find out yesterday that the daughter actually has passed away, and she's no more than 23 years old, 24 years old. So, um, if you're watching this, I know a lot of people do not have insurance on their children because they think one, there's a lot of stigma with having insurance for children. People don't want to talk about it. They don't want to think about it. But life insurance is not all, especially these newer type of life insurance, is not always about somebody dying. It could be money that's needed during a person's illness that can actually help them maybe get better treatment, better medicine, that could possibly allow the parent to stay home from work and tend to the child, so no income is lost because they'll be able to replace the income from the policy, right? So it's not always about somebody passing away. Another thing that I hear from people is, "Oh, I'll get it later." Later means a couple of things in the insurance industry. One, you're older, so the cost is going to cost you more money. It's going to be more expensive, and sometimes later might be too late. I've been around for a while, just like I just mentioned the young lady who I spoke with, who didn't want to make a move, and then this situation happens, and that one actually hurt me because I know this young lady, like I know her. We used to party together back in the day, and I know her cousins, like, and so I don't know. It's kind of the longer I do this business. I've been around for 16, 17 years. The more I feel the need to put a little bit more pressure on people to get in this because this is absolutely important, especially in this world, in this environment that we live in now, where we don't know what's in the food, what's in the water, what we're drinking, hairspray, deodorant. I even heard the other day, like there's some things inside mouthwash that may cause like blood clots or whatever like that. I don't know how true it is, but it's just so many things that we're taking in and we put on our body. People are getting illnesses like cancers and stuff like that. Like that's not normal for a particular group of people or age, right? So, or I may also hear, hey, I have it through my job. I have insurance through my job. Well, here's what I always tell people. What happens when you change job? That coverage will disappear with your HR badge. If you switch jobs, or if your job lets you go, or if you, like, for example, so most of the people I'm dealing with right now are retirees, people who are retiring, and they're now finding out that the insurance cannot go with them. One, or two, if your insurance goes with you, you come out of a group plan into a individual plan, and your coverage, new coverage, is going to be based on your age, the amount you want for coverage, and your health at that time. And the price goes up dramatically. And that's when I start to get the phone call. Hey, I was referred to you. I heard you do insurance. I just left my job and I need coverage. And I have to now give them the real world premium. So I always tell people, yes, you have insurance at your job. It's pennies on the dollar. Okay. Why don't you get insurance outside of work that you control and it's not going to go up on you? Okay. The other thing that I hear is, oh, I don't want to think about dying. I don't want to think about death. You know, uh, in most cases, because I'm West African, in most cases, those type of thought processes are usually coming from people from other culture. Some Americans, still feel that way too. But in most cases, I hear that a lot from people from, like, let's say within my culture or the Caribbean culture, right? Um, Let me make it clear to you guys. Life insurance is not about dying. It's about living responsibly